Hi, thanks for checking out another one of our videos here. We've got quite a few videos on YouTube, over 700 videos on YouTube. So if you do a search online on YouTube, I mean, there's of any brand or model, you'll probably find multiple videos of the unit, most likely. But this is going to be how to test and fix this old unit. This is an old Gallagher BEV3 that they used to make from the early 80s to late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in that range. When they finally switched over to the old style Gallagher M800, these old things are just built like tanks. So if you got one of these old ones, man, to replace it's $500. You know, if you stick with Gallagher, if you go to like a newer M800, they're $500+ for a new one. So to fix these old ones, usually well worth the time to try. So we're going to take a look at this one here. I'm going to go ahead and pop the case apart. On it, we need a couple of flat screwdrivers, or at least one. A little tab inside here. You put your flat screwdriver on top of the tab in the middle there. Lift up on the handle. Then go over here and just kind of push the black part away from the orange part. Gallagher's used this case design for a long time on a bunch of different models and styles, and even the small ones were shaped kind of like that. There's the inside. It's all modulated. It's all old school. Everything's all separated, so if you know what the unit's doing or not doing, you can almost narrow down where your problem's at. Alright, so let's go ahead and plug it in first and see what it does. What should happen, there's a little light here. This one's kind of burnt out, but this light should glow green if it's a factory bulb. It should glow green, and you should click and pulse, and these lights should flash red, but of course they're burned out too. Okay, you can see them flashing over there. Maybe. They need to be changed out. They're black and need to be burnt. They're burnt up. This one we'll probably go ahead and change this bulb too. It is green, but it's starting to burn out. But it's clicking kind of fast, and it's a little on the weak side of how it sounds. So I'm going to pull this board out. We'll change that bulb here in a second. It's cosmetic. First thing I want to check is capacitor. That's a 30 microfarad, so that's the factory one. The 30s that came out later on, or even they used today, are about half that size, about like that. And the later ones, I used a 40. It looks just like this, but it's a 40 microfarad, so it's probably the original one. And we're going to check that. There's no polarity to it, so you'll look at your meter if you got a multimeter. Look for this symbol right here. Bit of freaking focus. Let me turn the light on. Alright, symbol right above my finger, yellow symbol right there. That's a symbol for capacitor. So it's not ohm, it's not continuity, it's none of this other stuff. It's that yellow symbol right there. So it's a 30, so it should read 30. And read 7. So that capacitor is very weak. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this capacitor out to the 40. That little clip broke. That's okay. But yeah, it's probably the factory one. So we'll chuck that. And we'll grab a new one. And the ones I use are not the 40s, but they're not the plasticky looking ones that they use, because they're excessive in price. But these metal ones work just fine. They've worked for years in other brands. You know, and Gallagher actually back in the 70s and 80s had a metal looking one on some of the units as well. So they did used to use them. Let's see. Let's put the wires back on this new capacitor. Tighten this up. Tighten that up too. That one was loose, shouldn't pull out that easily, so we're going to Okay, so it's going to sit right there. I'm going to get two things at first. We're going to put a piece of double-sided foam right there. Press it into place, and we need a long cable tie. This is what we're going to use to strap it in place. Alright, so now let's replace the bulbs. That's part of our issue too, cosmetically anyway. So we're gonna take this bulb off, and then we'll go to that board there and we'll pull those bulbs off. Like so, this is cosmetic. This isn't necessity, but let's go ahead and change it while we got it, because it's not going to get any better. It's just going to, over time, get worse and worse. Alright, we'll pop this board out. 1986, what this board's got written on it. Come on, focus. 1986, when this is probably the original board. This BEV3 is an 80s model unit, and I see there's a date on this one. Oh, this has got 1990 on it, so it must have been replaced at some point in time. Because I think about 89, 90s when they switched over to the M800 nameplate. The guts were all the same, just a different sticker on the front. So I imagine this must be like an 86 model, possibly. So 35-year-old unit. Alright, let's get some new bulbs. Two clear ones, and then one for the green bulb. So we'll put and we'll go over here and put this bulb in here. Like I said, this is cosmetic. You don't actually need those bulbs to do anything with the unit to make it work. It's just green light's a dummy light to tell you, hey, the power's on. So if the unit was clicking, you should know that the power's on. Either that bulb was missing or completely burned out. It has no function to the unit to make it work or not work. So we'll solder these wires on. Bend these straight. These are kind of cockeyed. Bend them straight this way. Make sure the tabs of the transformer are straight. Looks good. I'll take the module. Alright, now let's see what it actually does and puts out and everything. See if the clicking sounds better too. Yeah, it's a little more steady, it's a little louder like it's supposed to be. Should be about between 6 and 7, and 6.5 is where it's peaking out at voltage wise, so that's right where it's supposed to be. Alright, I'm going to do a ground fault test on it as well, so I'm plugging into this outlet, which is a different one. Attach it to a ground, make sure the transformer doesn't fail. Alright, transformer's good, so we'll pull off to the side and do a let it run with a load on it for 24 hours, but that's typically these Gallaghers either work or they don't. Alright, well this one's done. We got 2 of them here. We're going to take the other one, take a look at it, and we'll get that one going. So this 35-year-old unit is back up and running again. So if you got a fence charger you want us to take a look at, be happy to take a look at it for you. We do work on all brands and ages of these things, and free estimates and 18-month warranty. So until next time, we'll see you guys later on.